Okay, we are here, guys. Oh my God.
Guys, we're
Okay.
back.
I felt like Dallas was going to bring it, and I just haven't figured out what they're bringing yet, but I do have a lot to say, as I know you do. Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hopefully, you guys have gotten to watch the premiere of season 8, I believe, of Ready to Love Dallas. Okay, sis, I'm gonna let you start because I know you were. I cut you off a few minutes ago. So.
No, that's okay. I'll just answer your question. What are they bringing? They're bringing boots. Some of them are bringing bullshit.
Oh God, yes, there is apple bullshit
and some baggage. Oh, those are the 3 B's. Boots, bullshit, and baggage. That's what I saw. But there was some connections there that I saw right off too. That if I had to make like an early, take on things,
they're working it.
Yes, some stuff going down. I like it. Yes.
Okay, so what's going on, Ellen? So off the break, I'm gonna say that we were talking about the way that they cut people on that first fucking night. I hate that. Like I think they need to give them at least another day, and they need to put in some type of speed dating element to the mixer, because that way everybody gets to sit in front of everybody, because they're cutting people before they even get a chance to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's just crazy to me, because you're trying to do an experiment and you're not even giving it a chance to play all the way out. So that's just that on that. As far as my opinion on that first night cut or whatever, but it is some saltiness, yes, because it's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Especially if I felt like, but especially if the person felt like they were actually talking and making good connections, because I felt like Tequila was actually a great conversation starter. I felt like she, even though her questions may have put some of them off, I felt like she was getting them to talk from what we saw. So, but what do you think? Sure.
So Tequila is a little bit of I'll call her a fire starter. She's a conversation starter, but she's she's also an arsonist. I can tell she's like a real arsonist, but she started some shit back in her day. I can tell because she threw me off a little bit. I know there's editing and things to take. Right,
because we don't know what the succession was of the conversation.
Then I saw the preview of the thing, and I was like, "What is happening here?" But anyway, here's what threw me off. She's a Christian. She named herself that right out the gate.
Yeah.
She was talking to the Morier or whatever his name is. And then she starts asking sex questions. And I don't know if
sex. I mean,
it's fine.
Everybody's a work in progress.
I almost felt like it was a trick bag.
I thought it was at first too, and it could have been because we didn't see the whole conversation. But I mean, those are good questions to ask, honestly. Like, I'll put it out.
Listen, I actually have some questions, but I gotta say this. I gotta say it. I don't know this lady, but I'll say just from past friendships, you gotta be careful when you first meet somebody and they start crying the first day. Like, that's not a good sign.
So, I do get that part, but in this situation, to me, I feel like they did show a couple of parts of them talking about how, 100% of our relationships have obviously failed because we're all here.
Oh, yes. Right? I know who said that.
And then, so it's like a reality moment. I could believe, like a dose of reality. Like, okay, I was really trying to be open and transparent or whatever. And it is important to be yourself too. Like,
I agree.
If she was a Christian, I don't think it would have worked for her to be in there trying to lay hands on people or be like,
not, but right? Like, why are you then just following up with sex questions? Like I said, I don't know what the editing was like, but it's like you like you're giving me, and then she had her hands clasped and folded. I was trying to figure out, is she doing this to be like cause a reaction? And which brings me to my next person, Habibi.
Oh God.
How do these people get on these shows? He's
Habibi is something.
So like me, such like a narcissist and like an actor in some ways. And I'm bringing him up when I'm talking about Tequila. I don't even know if I'm saying her name right. Tequila. I don't know. Tequila. I know it looks like Tequila.
Shit, she said it a whole lot, but I don't know. Like I said,
but my thing is, like, he was asking one of them trick bag questions too. Like, I was trying to figure out, is he serious or is it one of them questions like, you go, this is a long time away.
This is Habibi, y'all, in the pink suit.
This is a far ways back, but I remember I would go out with guys and they would say stuff about themselves. It would be so off-putting, like like, what do you see when you look at me? It's just like,
no, but okay. So I feel like
drinks
it
and
is important
appetizers.
to be your complete self up front, because that can cut you off, like save you a lot of time initially, and it could also let somebody get to really, be like, oh, you
Yeah,
know what? Nobody ever asked me that. But also, production does have them ask certain questions too. So we don't know
yeah,
if that was all them or not.
sure.
But I don't disagree with Tequila's questioning, because I feel like in that situation, if you have tried everything else, you got one chance to meet these people. If your personality doesn't warrant you to be like, okay, how should I be? Like, just go from the dome. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
that's when you're gonna get the other person's real
yeah,
reaction. And just because she was asking those questions doesn't mean that she's like trying to go throw down right now. She really was able to, I feel like, get real responses from people, because like it's like business. Like when you're so specific on
yeah.
like presenting yourself, you repel people, and you want to repel those people because those aren't your customers. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
which speaks
Mm-hmm.
to it, because after that she
That's a
did
good point.
seem to make a connection, because Marie was able to come
Yeah,
and check on her, and they
yeah,
made a connection. I feel
yeah. I think
this
they
is
did too.
Tequila hugging Marie, and so I mean, but I feel like she had every right to cry, because if she felt like she was picking up the fact that people were receiving her and weren't being repelled by her, that means they weren't being real. They weren't
Yeah,
acting like, they weren't giving a real reaction to what she was like giving off. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm looking at that. But that does lead me to my first question. Like, everybody that gets in that situation where they think that they're coming off like okay, and then they get put in the bottom, they be wanting to know who did it and why. So I want to know
listen.
how she's gonna carry it, further.
Which brings me to one of my first questions. This is a double hitter right here, because one of my first questions when I'm always watching this is like, how are these people? I wonder how the cast members are coming into this and what they are intending to get out of the experience, right? Because as a viewer, I have a certain perspective of like, oh, here's what you're here to do, right? It's almost like, you looking at somebody in their job, in their role or something, and you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this person does that. But that might be a very different viewpoint of like why
Mm-hmm.
they show up, right? And so in this, and I'm not saying that they're workers or whatever, but I'm saying like, when I'm as a viewer viewing them, I have a specific, well, not even specific, but I have somewhat of a perspective of why they may have joined the cast. And I'm imagining that it might be very different, because some things are confusing to me, like why would they say that, or why are they so offended, or whatever. And it made me also think, are people open to this process, like whatever it brings them, right?
Mm-hmm. But see, then everybody's perception is different. Like you might think of, okay, I know how to date, but
Right.
then if you get put with another person who doesn't understand dating in the realm of your mind, then you're gonna be like, well, he doesn't know how to date, or he might be like, she doesn't know how to date, right? So it's all up to perception or whatever.
Which
And
is wild, because it then becomes a numbers game. Because here's the other part of that. How would I feel if I got on the bottom two the first night? I mean, I could be possibly a bit salty, but I've noticed in the past couple of seasons that I've watched, the person who survived the first bottom two is salty the next day or
I
whatever.
mean, I feel like it's rightly so, because it's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, if they were not able to pick up that the people weren't interested, then I feel like somebody in the situation was being fake, and it probably wasn't
Yeah.
them, because those people probably just trying to be nice or whatever. And
Well, so then I'm gonna pose this next question, because then my thought is like, are people really willing to understand other people's perspectives? You're putting yourself in this spotlight for people to not only date you publicly, but like for it to be viewed, right? And so that kind of leans back into the first question of like, what are what are the things that you're trying to gain out of this? Because I'm just going to bring up two people here. When Unique was talking to the comedian guy, his name is Red.
Red.
Okay, so Unique is 31. So that's Red. He's a comedian, 42, right? He's had I think he had a divorce. And he said he was offended, so I feel like he might be a little
He was
sensitive.
turned off.
Well, I've never met. Oh, I don't know. I don't know for sure, but like I don't recall meeting a lot. I know a few comedians. We both know a few comedians, and they don't really get easily offended. So for him to be on a dating show and somebody says something and then he gets offended, also by something that I felt might be obvious, because I didn't know he was a DJ at first. Because I feel the things come up like comedian. I was like, oh, okay, 42-year-old comedian. Like he must be funny. Like, you know, some of his facial expressions were kind of funny. But then when Unique sat down with him, and Unique is a TV and film producer, she kind of looks like Megan Good in my opinion.
I didn't get a picture of her, but
okay, that's fine. And you know what? I can bring it up right now if they have it in the show. But she kind of reminds me of Megan Good, but she's a TV and film producer. And when she said to him, you know what she said to him? She said, "Oh, because you have a thought job."
But she also said that they both agreed that they thought that they knew each other. But that is offensive in a way. It's like, okay, this is how I make my living, and that could be something like somebody saying, like, if you work as a server, oh, you're the help. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like so he was immediately turned off because that was to me her closing him off, like, you know, I don't date firefighters, I don't date police officers, kind of thing. Like, so I mean, she basically put a label on him and she doesn't even know him. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Listen, but she didn't label him, she labeled his job. And so here's the thing. And then I got to thinking because I asked James, I said, that's an interesting term. What is a thought job? Right? So he came up
with a bus driver.
Oh my God! You are about to get roasted. Okay? Roasted.
No, but I'm saying.
Here's what James came up with. He said, here's some thought jobs. A dancer, a bartender. Oh, didn't know that. A flight attendant, a customer service rep. I was like, what? Why customer service rep?
Because they work in the call center and the call center be jumping. Okay.
I could see like a dancer or like honestly, like not even like a masseuse that works in a real massage parlor, but I be seeing this stuff on Instagram where people be going around and massaging these women, and it's like, dude, that's simulated.
I know dudes that are exotic massage therapists.
Yeah,
and it gets really kind of crazy in that genre or whatever. So yeah, I mean, but that's a judgment on the way that he makes his money, and she didn't know him. So you saying that about the job, you're talking about me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I can see why he would be turned off. It's like you said, like, what are you hoping to get out of this by saying that? You feel what I'm saying?
Yes. So, okay. So let me see if I can point to, you probably can't see who I'm pointing to, but I'll say, the girl. Okay. So this guy, I'm just looking at the way people are standing now, and it's just like, oh, wow, this completely embodies what I've seen out of
Marvin. I feel like should have been behind, oh geez, I don't remember her name.
Yeah, I remember her name. Hold on,
he got to be all in front. He should have let the women stand in front of him.
Janelle,
that's neither here nor there.
You're talking about Janelle in the blue dress all the way over to the left. Janelle, she's a creative director. She's the one who said 100%. We're all here because 100% of our relationships were unsuccessful. Mm-hmm. I think she's the one that's adopted, and people are saying that she has good energy. She actually was attracted to Herbert, and they had a really fun conversation. But the guy, okay, so then, I mean, I'm just looking at the way he's standing, and I'm learning a little bit about him. Mm-hmm. First of all, he has a red pocket square with a black suit. That's screaming something to me, even though I know he's from Texas, so I might be misinterpreting.
And he's into dominations.
And the way that he delivers that information is very intense. It's almost like he's doing a case study on the world. So I think there's more to be seen from him. But I think
Shades of Grey.
Yeah, he's very much giving that to me.
That's what he does. He's into domination.
He is an erotic author, which I've never like. Here's the thing. I agree. And listen, I agree with people telling the truth, but I also feel like there's a bit of a stage that he's on. Like, I feel like he's performing in a way for us.
Into dominations.
Yeah, I think he's.
So that's performance in itself.
Yeah,
he's, you know what I'm saying? Because that dominatrix world is that way. So I appreciate him leading with his realness, because, like I said, if you give your full self up front, then a person has to make a decision whether they like you or not. and it's good if they repel you because now you don't have to waste a whole bunch of time. You know what I'm saying? It's not my cup of tea, but somebody likes it. Clearly, the men were feeling like they were feeling Janelle. I think there's a girl named Aries, Jessica, Uniquely. The two ladies that were in the bottom were Tequila and Leanne. And Leanne went home.
Leanne was not the one.
Yeah, I was glad she went home because I feel like Tequila really wants to be there. And I feel like Leanne could be like, take it or leave it kind of thing. And so, but the people the ladies they weren't feeling was Tequila, Unique, and Sierra and Leanne. Obviously, I said the bottom two were them. So Leanne goes home.
Let me ask you this: do you feel like who do you want for the men to go home? Because we got Brandon and Habibi.
Okay, I want Brandon to go. Okay,
really?
Brandon. This is why, because Brandon has a lot of red flags. Okay.
Oh, I was gonna ask about that. When does someone's past register as a red flag? I'm gonna argue with you on this, but
the reason why he's a red flag to me, and I'm not saying that he's a bad person, but if he were to approach me and try to date me, the reason that I would say no is because you married the same girl twice, and now you've only been divorced for 6 months. Are you guys gonna get back together again? I don't know.
Right? Are you? All right. You say to him, Brandon, are you done?
Yeah. Are you done? Are you done? Are you done? Or you're done? You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason why the red flag really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like I said, I would, he's probably a nice person or whatever, but just to, if we gotta, cut somebody, I don't know. Like the one girl said, you might work that shit out with your wife again.
Also, let me just give the stats on my boy Brandon here. Brandon's 36 years old. He's been married twice, I think, to the same person.
Mm-hmm.
They married twice and they divorced twice.
Mm-hmm.
They have 4 children together.
Yeah.
That is a lot of people who were affected by the same sort of hesitation. And I wonder, just like you, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delve into this before I argue the other side. Just like, here's the other part of it. He got divorced the second time 6 months ago. Like, dude, 6 months is not a lot of time. I'm pretty sure that I have applesauce in my fridge that's older than that. And
I mean, I would want to know.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I don't want to know that. Go ahead.
Oh gosh, she said I would want to know. No, never mind. I don't want to know that. We had a question over here, which was, is it better that he was divorced from the same person twice, or would it have been worse, right, if he had been divorced twice from 2 different people? And I was like, because James was like, well, at least it's the same person. I was like, that's worse. And he was like, how is it worse? I was like, because like, we don't know if that's over. Like they went back again, and there's some confusion there. It's only been 6 months. But then
if he had not said the 6 month part, I would just be like, okay, well, are y'all gonna get back together? And that's why it would be kind of like but if he had gotten married to 2 different people and still had the 6 month thing, that still would have been the same thing. So I don't know which one is worse. They're both,
There's also so many people involved. Like, if I'm not trying to say this, I'm going to argue the other side in a second, okay? But I gotta say this. That's 6 people. Like, that's enough to fill a booth. Like, I don't know if people understand that. Like, you could build a colony with 6 people. And I feel like that's a lot of, I'm not calling it baggage, but it's a lot of commitment. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of investment. You really don't have time to do anything else. You have 6. There's a group of 6 people in your life who are all affected by the same actions that you took twice with someone else. And I think that that's a whole unit of your life that is not over.
That's the only thing that I think is the
that I don't really try to get involved
because
with.
Those people were involved, but those are still both of their parents. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it wasn't
a lot of stuff
as bad as if he was married to 2 different people because he didn't have 2 different families.
Yeah.
But it's the 6 month being divorced thing for me because y'all might get back together. Okay. So I don't know. But
also, okay, let me play the other side now. Okay. Now, and I gotta play this other side after I address the fact that he needs to hold off for another 12 months but was to get the routines together to see how we're going to operate. Like, this has been a whole section of your life, and we don't know all the details because he might have been involved.
He might make a connection with somebody and they can get married in 6 months. It's up to the person. You know what I'm saying?
That would be odd. I wouldn't see that working.
I just would feel like I'm encroaching on something that you guys have.
You've been establishing and we're unsure about. So I get that, right? But also I don't want to discount the idea that like you can have a fresh start. I feel like,
and then he also did say to her, so Unique, that you know he's got the ability, in her words, to go savage mode and just be like, all right, I'm out. So that's a red flag for me. So speaking of red flags, Habibi, the reason why Habibi is a red flag is because first of all,
because he was wearing one on his head.
But he is a saxophonist, and I do have, you know, I used to play the saxophone, so shout out to him for that. He has one son, but the red flag for me is that the girl got pregnant 11 days after she'd known him.
Yeah, and the way he said it, he was like, yeah, for real. Like,
It's interesting about the things that, like you said, people offer on the first date. Like, I do think, like, I don't know if that's something that I would have even questioned, like how long did you know before she got married? But he offered the information, so I mean, he got to get some points.
In a way, where how did you take that information? How did you think he offered that information for? In what context? Because I could tell you what I thought about it.
Yeah, I don't need.
He offered that information.
Like what?
He offered that some information in a Maury Povich envelope. Okay. He offered information like, look at this. This didn't mean nothing to me. I got caught up. And the lie detector told me that was a lie. And here I am. And he didn't have any respect for the idea that like, oh, there's a whole person that I don't know. I didn't hear the whole conversation. It was edited. But yeah. I just think that him as a whole, I'll pass, right? Because it's just like, he's performing. Even look at his little face in this damn picture. He just looks like a mischievous child. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're from Texas. You're from Texas.
That's what I'm
Why
saying.
are you wearing that thing on your head? And I
because
realized
he lived in Dubai for 4 years.
Oh,
he likes it. And listen.
Put it on a t-shirt, man.
This is the thing. Somebody likes it. So just because it's not our cup of tea doesn't mean it ain't working for him, because I feel like it's working for
11 days.
I feel like it's working for him. And that's his feast. So I'm not going to judge him on that, but I am going to judge him on offering up that 11-day information, because I just don't know how that came about.
It's a little odd.
They did leave us on a cliffhanger, which is Own's like way to go. And so the bottom men that we're waiting for are waiting to see who goes home as Habibi and Brandon. So I think that it's gonna be. I mean, both of them got a good chance to go home, because the red flags are just unique red flags, and the women are noticing the flags. But I think that the guys that I'm looking at, as far as like to see them go far, is gonna be Marie, and
Tequila.
I think just for the guys, Marie and Herbert. And so for the girls, I'm hoping that Tequila stays in there, and I'm hoping that I didn't really get to see all of the women to get good, but we'll talk about that more as the season goes on or whatever. But I like Tequila, and I like Lee as well. I like Lee, I like Tequila, but I like Lee because she's a health and wellness person too. So.
Yeah, Lee is a health and wellness coach. She's 34. She loves soccer. She buries herself in her work. She was connected to one of the other guys who is also a fitness coach, which I don't see his name on my notes right now, but
I forgot what his name was too, but I think that you're talking about this guy.
Yeah, Quentin. Yeah. That's him. I think that they are a good couple.
Sorry, I got a bad picture.
I think that him and Lee are a good couple, because they both seem to be like he mentioned that his parents were married for 44 years. Lee's parents were married for 39 years. And then he was like, my grandparents were married for 70 years. I always think it's cute when people reference that, because it's like an aspiration for them. Like, I want to get married so that I can.
And her mom got married at 15.
Yeah, now that was something that reminded me of some old Color Purple type stuff, but I don't know that lady, and I'm not trying to say anything.
I mean, but she's still married, so I mean, we don't know how old her dad is. Her dad might be 16, so who knows?
Who
Might have
knows?
been 16.
So, Janelle and Herbert, I'm rooting for them. I think they're very cool. And then so Lee and Quentin, I'm rooting for them. Nobody seemed to remember this lady's name with the white boots. They kept calling her White Boots. She's a dancer. I think her name is Kara. They said they liked her energy.
She's the ex-Dallas Cowboy, right?
Mm-hmm. They said they liked her energy.
I'm sorry, ex-Dallas Cowboy cheerleader.
Huh?
She's an ex-Dallas Cowboy cheerleader.
The thing that bothered me though is that maybe they did this for production purposes, but like they didn't remember her name. They were like, "I like White Boots."
I mean, it was the first day, and that thing goes so fast they don't get to even talk to everybody. Like I forget people's names like that as well. But that was the other reason why I said they need to add in the speed dating element and make them not go home that first day. But
those are great. Those are great suggestions.
But I mean, just like. That's just how I do that too. Like I called this dude that delivered our water in the office Big Shoulders for like 4 months before I knew what his name was. But anyway,
oh my gosh,
that's all I had to say so far. We're gonna get into it deeper
for sure. Okay, let me tell you my favorite women. I like Aries. I like Unique because she said the whole thought job thing. I thought that was really funny, and I like. Janelle.
Okay.
I think those. Oh, and I do like Lee, but I just feel like Lee and Quentin are a thing, and like let's strip them off and get
I'm
married.
not putting anybody together right now because you just never know what happens.
Not like Habibi.
I'm just saying the dudes that I liked and the girls that I like, and I think that this season is going to be drama filled, and I'm here for it. So.
I did not like Habibi. I would really like him to exit stage left off of my screen immediately. He kissed his own hand, y'all.
He kissed his own hand.
I think he said that out loud. I didn't even notice that until he said it. And I was like, you're proud? You're proud that you did that?
She said, he said, I'll kiss yours another day. I'm like, what? Oh my God, it looks like she's frozen, guys. Okay,
so one guy in Miami was still frozen. Damn.
No, you're good now.
Oh, the one guy in Miami who was like, he was like an ex-ball player or something, and he was like so into himself. Anyway, I'm gonna figure out who it was.
I can't remember who was this.
It was like Justice or something.
No, this is I don't think I have him. These are the people. This is Marie.
Justice.
I like Marie. This is Marvin. Marvin is the one that's in the Dominations. I don't know. I see Marvin going far. They got a bowling alley inside of the mansion, which I thought was pretty cool. The back side of the mansion looks really nice. That looks cute. Except for the ground looks dirty over there, but that's neither here nor there. Whatever. Anyway, we're gonna discuss.
The guy's name was Justice.
Justice. Oh,
he reminds me of Justice because he's so into himself, and it's like nobody gets you, dog. Like, just please go home and love yourself.
Wow, tough crowd. I'm
sorry, I don't like Habibi. I don't want to see anymore.
Okay, we got that part.
Pack it on up. Get out of here.
All right, y'all. Okay, we're gonna come back in more depth next week. When we do our Thursday Night Live, make sure y'all come so we can further talk about this.
Ellen said, "Ready to love is a red flag." Ellen is crazy.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I don't know. I'm here for the drama because it's gonna give us a bunch of stuff to talk about. We're gonna talk about it again on Thursday, so make sure y'all come back on Thursday to check that out. Do you have any last words?
That's it. I can't wait to see the next episode. I'm already into it.
Yeah, I can't wait either. All right, y'all. We had to get in here and get out. We'll see y'all on Thursday. Peace.